amazing.
Thank you.
You should be so proud.
What do you think?
Beautiful. This guy is the same.
I am crazy proud of my dad. For me and my sister, it's life-changing. He is fulfilling the promise that he made to us.
Oh my God.
I really didn't know what to expect, and when I saw him, it was just beyond what I could imagine.
It's very dramatic. It's amazing.
I am so proud of David. I am so proud of him.
I think
all of the sacrifice, all of the time away, it was worth it.
I've missed you so much. You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
I love you. Can I have a kiss? It's my baby girl. Hey, it's Daddy. I promise. You know?
The change was drastic, and for them to experience that with me here tonight, it is a moment, it is a time that I will never forget.
So that, we don't watch a lot of TV, but we watch TiVo TV sometimes late at night. And that was the last season of Biggest Loser. And I watched that and I was just like glued to it. I'm like, we gotta go watch that again. Because it's just so relevant to what's inside the human spirit, right? That the ability to change our lives, our circumstances, to make things different for the people we care about. I watch it, I still cry like a baby every time I see it, because it's, you know, in a lot of ways, that's like what happens in Primerica when you really go for it, you know what I mean? That there's people counting on you, and lives that get changed because of it, and I can't find a version that shows before, but he was telling the host that daughter had come to him about 6 months before he went on the show and said, "Dad, I had a dream, and you were skinny in the dream, and you looked like this." And so when he said that, "Hey, remember that dream you told me about? Did it look like this?" I just thought, wow, isn't that unbelievable what people are capable of? And then he says, all the time away, all the sacrifice, it was worth it. And I think that anybody that really wins in business or in life in any way that we can look back at and say, wow, it was worth it, right? And you see those, you know, in Primerica, it's not like that. You don't go away to a ranch for 4 months and then you're just totally different, right? You got to balance that with your life and other things. But it's almost like what if you could take a Primerica story and slam it from beginning to end. I think that that's what you would get from the people that cared about you most in your life. Does that make sense? And so that's why I wanted to share that with you. And listen, we came to Primerica initially to make a little bit of money. When I really got sold on the vision and the dream, we came here to be free. And I think that that's what everybody here wants, right? And that looks different to everybody. And so I don't pretend to think that what I want in my life is what you wanted in yours, but here's what I do know: with more time and more money, you have a lot more options to be able to do those sorts of things, right? And so I want to share some of that stuff with you about our journey, and hopefully it sells you the dream. We're just beginning, right? I mean, we've not been doing this a long time. We've got some phenomenal leaders here with Brendan and Ann and Brandon and Lexi that have really done an awesome job of selling you the dream already, right? But the dream that we were sold is that you could come into Primerica and in 5 to 7 years you could be free, right? Totally free if you did it the right way, right? And I read a thing on Facebook the other day, it says, it's funny how some people think 5 to 7 years is a long time to build a business to become free, but somehow don't think 40 years working a job and being broke is a long time. Isn't that bizarre, right? Okay, so we're going to kind of do this here and take through. So most of you saw that last night, but that's what I looked like 2 months before I joined Primerica. That's a silver mohawk. It doesn't look, it's kind of a weird picture, but if you take a look around here tonight, you all are at an extreme advantage over me. Right? Because nobody looks that bad sitting out here, right? And we did it. And you saw that picture last night too. That was our first office. The day we became regional vice presidents, I quit my job and opened my first office on the same day. And that's the entire thing, man. All 150 square feet of it. You saw that picture. That was us at the convention last year with 3 RVPs getting promoted. We promoted 7 RVPs in the last 18 months. So we really kind of just figured out what to do and got it going, you know. That was my car when I joined Primerica. That is the Hyundai Elantra GT. Okay, I lived in a city called Royal Oak, which is famous for oak trees. And no joke, like this car looked like it had been hit by shrapnel because the acorns would fall on it. And it was made of such thin metal that acorns would just dent it like crazy. I mean, the whole roof of it, I mean, you remember that, right? I mean, it was bizarre. So that's my car that I have now. It's an okay car. It's a Jaguar XS Sport. How many of you ever driven one of those? Like the new ones like that? One of you. Okay, good. When you turn it on, what happens, my man? You remember? So the gear shifter comes up out of the center console, lights up blue, and it's like, comes out like you're at a Prince show, and he's coming up out of the stage, right? And it's got some theatrics to it, that's for sure. That's us on vacation. We love to travel. We hate the cold. So we were between Florida and Hawaii for 8 weeks this winter. So we, rent cool cars and drive around down there when all our friends are suffering in the cold, right? That was the condo that we lived in when we started in Primerica. All 900 square feet of it. Just the bottom. That's somebody above us. Yep. So that's the other one. That's our house we have now. Okay, let's see, that's the back view of it. It's a little under 6,000 square feet. I have my own private beach. It's a cool place, man. 1.5 acres in Oakland County where we live. Lake property is hard to find. They built the house for 1.1 in 2005, and then the guy lost it. And so we got a great deal on it, and it pays to have a big income and a lot of cash when people are losing their jobs and losing stuff, because you can go and steal stuff for nothing. Right? I mean, it's crazy. Our poor neighbors, they're building a house right here, and those poor fellas ran out of money, man. They've been so they're doing their own electrical work. You hear them at night, get a shock over there. That's the view from our bedroom window. So this is like our own little inlet. It connects to the main lake, but nobody comes back there. It's just pretty cool. That's part of the backyard. There's my freaking neighbors. House.
Grass after 2 years. So.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, you're gonna get your grass done pretty soon. Like, I'll buy you some seeds, man. I'll lay that down. So that's the main area of the house. That's kind of looking at it from the other way. That's our bedroom. So the bedroom is bigger than my old condo. That's the walk-in closet and workout room that attaches to it. That's the basement. So I like doing this stuff. So when we bought the house, it was just studs. So it wasn't even studs, just concrete walls. So I designed it all and general contracted it out. And that's kind of like my fun thing. Like one day when I have 100 RVPs, I will probably buy houses and make them awesome for fun. Yep. So that's the other side of that. That's the kitchen we put in down there. One of my recruits' dads hand-built all the cabinets for us. And it's cool, you know, like everybody that did stuff with us were clients or recruits, families, and different things. It's just interesting to see, like you were talking about yesterday, I took notes, and like how focused this group of people was on helping other people. And you had said something about, hey, when you win your cause stuff, but I mean, like literally directly. You know, like that dude has $15,000 in his pocket for making me some cabinets. And it's my recruit's dad. He's just like a retired guy who does old odd, you know what I mean? Because he went to work and helped some families, so many other people get help along the way.
We had our first party with the hierarchy, and they came in and people thought that the basement was still under.
They thought there was a sub-level. They're like, that's not a basement, because it'll walk out, right?
It's the basement. This is higher.
So that's my guitar room, okay? Yeah, so when I started in Primerica, right, I worked at a church, and so I sold almost all my guitars. I almost didn't play at all for a little while. And now, like, I buy, like, the coolest guitars ever. And I have my own little room, and it's quite a collection. I mean, there's some really unique pieces in there and stuff. And I remember, you know, like, I would, like, save for a year to get a guitar, like, being poor, you know. Now it's like, I could go buy 10 of them and not even think about it. Like, that's awesome, right? Okay. So that's our team at the last convention there. The Relentless Organization, some stuff from convention. So that's us at Arts. You guys were there, right? Okay, and Martins were there at Arts thing. I always thought there would have been two awesome times to have been alive. One was when Jesus was walking around. Like, how cool would that have been to, like, be there and see all that stuff, right? And, like, literally be a part of changing the world. The second time I would have thought it would have been cool to be alive was, like, in the early days, A.L. Williams would be a part of that and watch what happens. And I never knew if I'd get to meet Art or whatever, and what a privilege it was to be able to go there and hang out with him, and it was just awesome. So that's our picture there with him and Angela. His little personalized note right in the Do It book. So that's my dad, my 3 kids, getting ready to go out tubing. So he's babysitting them today and yesterday. So it's us taking some of the team out on the boat. So that's Zachary. So on one of our adventures last summer, we were at Art Williams in North Carolina, and then we were back there like 15 or 20 minutes away from that a month later at a place in the Smokies. I think that's what mountains those are. And so we stopped at this Parrot Palace or something on the way there, and my little guy fell in love with this little bird, and that's all he wanted was this little bird named Peanut. So that was him getting his peanut when he got home.
Best friend.
So that's on this side of the state, on Sagatuck, a little beach place. We were there with the family for a week last summer. That's the view from the chalet in the Smokies. I mean, like, you're like way out there. Driving down that mountain, I thought we were going to use our life insurance. So we hiked a waterfall in the Smokies. So that's Zach and Kaylee, our 2 oldest. So that's Kaylee. So that's her 5th birthday. So when we do birthday parties in the Bruckner household, they don't get toys, they get people. So that's Eugene and Rapunzel. Okay, and all her friends come over, and then the characters from the people actually come over and play with them and sing songs and face paint and all sorts of things. And so that's their special place. So on the other side of our house, there's a bunch of unbuildable land, and they like to go back there and hang out, so that's what they call it, special place. That's Disney trip. Jess is the Disney freak, so I'll let you.
So this is the 3rd time in the last, 2 years we've been, and I've never been to Disney until I turned 30, pretty much, so, or 29, and then we started taking the kids, so that was kind of a life dream for me. I was living through the children. They got to do all the bibbidi-bobbidi boutiques, and if I could have, I think I would have. Yep, there's her getting Elsa, or whatever, and Zach. He wasn't sure why he was in there until he got the sword. He was like, why am I becoming a princess? But then he liked it. But yeah, they've been to all the parks now. I think there might be one more. But yep, we stood in line at Epcot for 3 hours to meet Anna and Elsa around Christmas time. They had to see them, so that was a memory like no other.
Doing New Year's in Disney World and all sorts of stuff. So we actually have some property we go to. So we actually